do the opposite perspective, like from Worm's Eye. I guess I could do something from Worm's Eye. That could be kind of fun. I'd try to push myself with different things not used to. All right, I'll do some Worm's Eye, or at least like an underneath something underneath. Yeah, you got it, bro. Yeah, I'll do my best. Kind of want to do some sort of like tiger, warrior sort of thing. I'm gonna grab ink because last time I didn't have ink ready for like shading. I just got lazy and didn't do it. And I don't really like going back and editing old drawings too much, so I should have that ready on standby. Creativity hit me like a, a brick basilisk stick. What do you what do you mean like by that? You just had like some sort of like creative surge at you. I'm gonna have some sort of skull here. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I got a giant snake chicken. It's terrifying sounding. Makes you kind of wonder. Yeah, a giant snake chicken would be pretty terrifying. What would, what would that even be? Would it be a snake body or a chicken body? A chicken with a snake head? Gotta have a snake body with chicken wings and a head of a chicken. Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking would be the most interesting too. Snake body with chicken wings. All right, I'll draw that. Hmm. I'm not really sure how too much about chickens, but it'll definitely be a bird though. With a snake body. And chicken wings. I'll kind of zoom in since my hand is probably messing with the focusing. I just got done drawing a bunch of chickens earlier for um like a Venom sort of scene. There's a bunch of chickens somewhere. Oh yeah, somewhere in here. So my chicken drawing is a little warmed up. The current chicken is nightmare. Yeah. Yeah, it was you that I thought of this. I kind of wanted to like, I don't know how to do the end of the tail. If I kind of wanted it to wrap around this character. I still gotta figure out the rest of his torso too. Hmm. Bum, bum, bum. Kind of gotta set up some things before it'll start to get a little more readable. All right, now I can start getting some things going. Do you have an image in your mind when you start drawing, or do you kind of just go with the flow? I can't really like visualize something in my head, like at all. So I kind of rely on just like going with the flow. I can sort of think of like a theme like zombies or something like that, but like I can't really visualize what I want in my head and then make it happen on paper. So it's kind of like trying to adapt after like every line basically, and then kind of like shifting certain things around as I keep going. I actually have my monitor up this time, so I probably won't miss you guys' comments. Abstract art, call it random thoughts. Man, this is turning out as a very awkward character. Probably gonna have to push late. Hmm. Forward. How can I use this little piece of cloth here to get a little bit closer? Since I don't know how I want to do the leg yet. Back leg. But I'll like slowly keep bringing it down more and more towards that sort of worm's eye view. To my perspective, it looks like a constipated pizza thrown back. Yeah, it's gonna look a little weird until I kind of draw the face and get a little more parts. Is that a person running with a backpack? Yeah, it is a person. It's a person with a backpack, yeah. And apparently a chicken with a chicken with a snake body and chicken wings. I can see. Kind of wanna. Oh shoot! Gotta get the lower foot on camera. Lower foot on camera. All right, here we go. All right, now it's gonna get more easier to see. I'm gonna make this character some sort of tiger warrior. This other foot might be kind of weird. Oh, this hand coming across. I'll make this underside dark. Split this up a little better. This poor chicken snake, man. I don't know. He's just asking himself why he's here. That's aura. I tried generating an AI image of constipated pizza, throwing it back, and the AI scolded me. So it didn't end up looking like my drawing then. It refuses to try. Alright, now it's slowly coming together. A little farther away from the scarier parts of the drawing. I'll get the sword in here. Not gonna lie, it's all blending well. Yeah, the snake chicken, it's working out. It was meant to be in this world. Might add a little bit of movement with the little pieces of cloth. This is the first time I've ever done this angle though. It's kind of crazy. I don't think I've ever done worm's eye before. Maybe add like a little bit of the top here. I think I'm gonna make the pants black, maybe. Either make the pants black or the cloth pieces. I think I'll do the pants. Kind of add a little contour, and then I'm gonna shade that in later. Have you tried gymnastic pose drawing? The body contours are so unnatural to paper. No, I've never tried. Hmm. Yeah, I've never tried gymnastic pose drawings. That could be kind of interesting though. I'd probably have to learn like what gymnastic poses there are there. Oh shoot, I just started inking over the wrong part. It's alright. That part probably shouldn't have been there anyways. I've been wanting to do a drawing, kind of like I don't know, like some sort of like ballroom, with dancers or people dancing, kind of like an old, older style thing. I think that could be fun. And then like a bunch of people in suits and I don't know, just like a fancy place. I don't know why, but it's like a sort of drawing I've thought of and just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. What? Drawing a figure folded up in a pretzel, pretty much. What do you mean by that? Oh, okay. So it's like a pose. So it's like your arms are behind your back and your legs folded through your arms. And that could be kind of interesting to draw some of those poses. That is that. That's a crazy post to think about. Hmm. All right, I'll be right back. All right, now I'll get back to drawing. I was just kind of like thought of extra part to put in a YouTube video, and I like filming all the videos on the stream. All right, I should probably add some water with this. All right, just gotta mix up a shade. I had a bit more ink in my bowl since it's kind of been sitting there for a while. And the more times that I keep adding water mixtures, and the brush gets a little bit wet, and then every time I dip, then it gets a little bit lighter and lighter. So kind of just starts to water down the ink. Try to get some sort of tone to shade this. I noticed on my last drawing, my values were getting like super light. Yeah, it's already a much better dark color. Get all of this reflected light underneath where the clothes are. I'll have to shade this one a lot earlier since I don't know why, but I always get really, if I don't shade it at a, like while I'm working on this drawing, then I probably won't shade it later. I don't like coming back to old drawings and going back and editing them or adding to them. I'd rather just kind of do a whole new drawing. Tiger Warrior. I add a little bit of water. My brush is getting kind of dry. Just kind of go through on the more obvious sections that kind of pop out to me of where there'd be some shadows at. And kind of leave these lighter areas with a little bit of contour lines. That way I can still detail them, add a little bit of detail with the shading, but keep them a lighter value. Yo, thank you for the gift. Ava, thank you. I appreciate it. Might end up doing some of the clothing all gray. I'm gonna add like a color, but I'm not sure yet. This is it's supposed to be a skull here. I think it's a little bit better now after adding a little bit of shading. When I had everything just black and white, it's a little bit harder to see that area. That's my favorite thing about shading though, is that it can, the way I use it is kind of to split up different characters and different parts of the character too. Just makes the drawing a lot easier to read. This thing on his back is a snake with a chicken head and chicken wings. And someone in my chat earlier when I was streaming was talking about the idea, and I decided to draw it. Sometimes I'll kind of just add a little bit of contour line and then slowly shade it and try to figure out kind of where I should darken certain values at. Try to keep as much area as I can on lighter value, especially on this upper area of the character. I kind of use the shading with the ink to act as color sometimes as well. Kind of think about like what sort of color some of his clothes would be. Since the clothes are all kind of kept white or a lighter value, and I want this to be a tiger, I'll probably shade in some of his head up here. I always have to think about where the white spots on a tiger are. I think it's like above the eyebrow. And then I'll color in the rest. And then it kind of acts as the shading sort of acts as a color. This sleeve over here would probably be in shadow mostly, but I might just like force it to be lighter color. Something like that probably works. Where did you learn? Um, I mean, I didn't go to like art school or anything. And when I first started learning, it was mostly like whatever I could find on YouTube. But um, mostly a lot of my learning has kind of just been from like drawing something and then or drawing whatever I have an interest in, and then sort of like learning from whatever I liked and didn't like about the drawing, and then sort of like in the next drawing I do, change it from that, and just kind of like learning from experience, I guess, is a decent way to explain it. But I learned like a lot of like basic fundamentals, so I'm just like different areas on YouTube, and then kind of just like looked at a bunch of different artists and we're seeing what they were doing, and then kind of like took like a lot of that basic knowledge and then kind of started trying to draw what I wanted. Hmm. I think I kind of want to continue this theme of these warrior tigers. I'm thinking whether I want to do the left side or right side. A lot of times I'll just go like based on feeling. I think I'll do the right side over here. I'll be a little brave and just kind of go for something right off the bat. Sometimes I'll kind of just like place down a line before I even think of backing out of the decision. Need more value tone on the upper back area to give it more depth. Yeah, I might go back to it once I figure out kind of what I'm gonna do with the other characters. But I'm pretty happy with how it's right now, so. I love the idea of tiger warriors. I always liked animals and kind of like different warrior figures from a bunch of different things. Samurai, Vikings. Great detail work though. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm kind of not going for anything perfect with my drawings, just kind of doing whatever is the most exciting. I usually will like naturally draw better if it's something that I'm interested in and having fun with. Can I come up with some sort of thing for this bracer? Not even sure where this character's gonna be. I want to go for something pretty extreme here. Push it into the foreground. Kind of think about his forearm coming out his back part. And then here. Draw some veins. Kind of going across the more ragged area of his arm. Make a little bit of texture. Think I'll try something new here and kind of bend. Well, I have a lot of room here. Bend his arm up here. Something like this. Lately, I've been trying to go as far out of my comfort zone as I possibly can. Kind of like starting at different parts of the character's body than I usually would. And also trying some different angles. And then kind of add some hair throughout. I really like the sort of the contrast here where it's more of his skin being tight and then there's a lot of area where it's a little bit more hairy since he's a tiger. Well, will be a tiger. So far he's just an arm. And then I kind of finish off his shoulder. Then I want to really push this outward. And then warp it a bit to kind of get it fit there how I want it. It's always fun on the characters that are quite big in the foreground. They kind of just like, I find it a little bit relaxing to just spend a little bit of time on their detail. And then from here, just kind of bring the chest down. It's a little bit of a more difficult spot here. I haven't done this angle before. Kind of shade under here. I'll leave a little bit of room for some reflected light underneath there. I'm kind of spending this time that I'm putting detail on these different areas on this side to kind of think about how I want to pull off this next part. Sometimes I should honestly just go for it and see what happens, so what I'm gonna have to do. Can I get some sort of medallion for his chest piece here? And then I want this character to be in front of the other character. So I sort of keep pressing him down and in. But his foot down here might be a little, well, it's closer to the camera than the rest of the character. So they're kind of close together in this more warped scenario. Kind of do something with the chest here. Then I'll just go for it and bring the chest armor out that way. A lot of times I don't even know if like my line's gonna be correct, but kind of confident I'll be able to get myself out of a mistake. Very cool, very Kim Jong-il. Yeah, he was definitely one of my favorite artists. He kind of showed there was a lot of different ways to draw. I always like that tigers have. I always imagine it as some sort of beard. So I think I'll use that to get this new area going. And then I'm kind of using the beard to figure out how I want his face. So the jaw here kind of didn't turn out how I wanted, but then I slowly sort of corrected it more towards something I like by controlling like the hair throughout it and pulling things different directions. And now I'm gonna go for something to get his mouth going. Kind of trying to look through his head up here and figure out where the rest of them will be. Sort of like a puzzle piece. It's another really weird angle for that I'm not used to. But I think I can make something work here. All the times it feels like the drawing kind of happens on its own. Now I'll just keep kind of pulling the hair until I get something set up. And then I'll kind of try to line up a spot for the ear. Now I can get some of those tiger markings in. That'll help a lot to make this side of his face a little bit better. Can kind of use them to still shape out the drawing. Now I'll try to bring it a little bit further down. Until I get to sort of a point where I feel like his beard would start. Really dope, man. They just trying to work it out. Can I use the black here to get something started on the armor? Since I'm making the chest piece dark, I can always kind of pull it over if I need to. Which I think I might round this off a tad more. Now I'm kind of thinking about starting that other side there. And then that'll still work pretty well for getting some reflected light in here and pulling the edges down. Now I'm kind of using these shapes, these like circular shapes, to bring further down. Jeez, I really hope my brush isn't running out of ink. Ah, shoot. My brush is running out of ink. This is my last refill too for this brush. Might have to finish the rest of this drawing with a different brush. Dang, well, okay. Probably use this brush until it runs out or gets pretty dry. I don't want to ruin the bristles too much. And then I'll probably just switch to Chinese ink since I already got it over here. Bum, 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 bum. From here, I think I want to bring it down more. Kind of want to, oh, I should do this dark. Get a little bit of a highlight in there. And then sneak a little bit of reflected light at the bottom. Might have him kind of taking some sort of knee, like he was wounded in the battle. Kind of just makes the most sense with how he's sort of positioned with this other character here. Have the cloth coming out. And I really want to push his leg. Coming forward down here. I think if I can sort of twist this around, I might be able to pull off a bit of the extreme. An extreme leg back here. Kind of trying to push this as much as I can. And then kind of pull this shoulder down. And I kind of have such a extreme like warp with this, so I have to make the arm even smaller than the leg back here. So dope, Ink. Thank you, dude. Doing my best to kind of pull off some tiger warrior battle thing. Kind of trying to look through the character. I'll use the armor piece from up here to kind of get some sort of marker going of where I want that back arm to be. his arm is pretty small, but it kind of works with the viewpoint. And then from back here, I'll draw him holding a sword. And then try to get this sword going up. Bro, you need way more followers. I'm surprised you don't have at least 40K. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Are these my original characters? Yeah. Everything I do is just from imagination. I kind of am just thinking about it as I go. Rodin samurai. Yeah, they were kind of supposed to be tigers, but I definitely do see the rodent look to them. I kind of like more like rugged, like almost like old man. I don't know, like older vibe to tigers. That's why I tried to draw a giant beard on this one. The hair on the tigers always reminds me of a beard. Are more organic and free flow of things. Brush is the best for that. Yeah. Yeah, doing hair with a brush is really fun. Yeah, I really like the sort of unpredictable part of a brush and being able to cover big areas with black. All right, I think I'll shade this character. I might add some black. Kind of thinking about how I want to do the tiger's arm here. I've just started to use a brush to ink in the past week. It's scary at first, but now it's hard to see myself using liners or nibs now. Yeah, it's definitely pretty scary at first, especially trying to like get used to the control of the brush with like line weight and things like that. But yeah, I don't like I'll use Crayola marker every once in a while to draw, and but that's kind of the only other thing than a brush I use now since like pens are good, but like to cover large areas with black, I'm kind of just like sitting there scribbling a long time. I saw your Gorilla Market video. Crazy, bro. Can you draw Roman reigns? What's a Roman reign? Is that like yeah, I'm not really sure what that is. How old am I? I'm 24. A wrestler? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who that is. I really drawn like real people in a long time. Amazing. Thank you. It's slowly coming along. You could be a generational talent for your age, man. That's really good. You're 27. Hey, 27 is still really young. I feel like I'm old, honestly. Like I don't know why, but Kim Jong-il stuff. Yeah, he's a big inspiration. I bet you could draw Roman. I mean, probably if I tried. Try to mix up some ink for shading. Old is a mentality. You go. Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, there's probably some very mature, like 3-year-olds out there, and very immature people that are like 100. Mm. Yeah, I definitely don't think that age means much, considering there's like people with such wide ranges. Like there's like 90-year-olds that run every day like multiple miles. Trying to get some water in Chinese ink mix so I can shade this. It's probably a good shade. Might go a little bit darker. In my experience, the least mature people end up in MGMT somehow. I thought you meant the band. That is a good band. I used to listen to their music all the time. Might have to go a little bit darker with the shade. A little dark age still is. No, can you draw something? Draw what? Catman? I mean, this is kind of already a Catman. Gotta go, bro. Keep up the great work, man. You're too good. I'm a fan. Thanks, man. Have a good day. I'm just curious your process. I have some like time lapses of like past streams on my page drawing. Came out nice. Yeah, it's coming together now. Just winging it slowly. You want me to draw a cat, man? What do you mean by like a cat man? Like a like a furry character? Yeah. This pen is dying on me, but gonna draw something. I might swap to Chinese brush. Alright, I'll draw a cat man. It's kind of weird. I wanted to draw the ear right away, but if it's gonna be a cat, then probably save. Save the ear space. Not sure what's going on with his hair, but Maybe he's some sort of restaurant. Kind of make this curve out. How long have you been painting? Um, I mean, I've been drawing since I was like 3 years old, but I didn't start kind of actually practicing from like imagination until like 3 years ago. And then like I studied some like basic fundamentals when I was in high school, and that was like 6-ish years ago. But then I kind of changed up uh, the way I draw to with just imagination, and I think I've made a lot more progress that way. Your artlet's a lot like that one Korean artist who can do huge murals. Yeah, you're probably talking about Kim Jong-il. Yeah, I get that a lot. Um, yeah, he was kind of huge inspiration on my art. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I remember I saw his stuff and then I kind of stopped watching for a bit, and then I was like super into video games at the time. And then I remember it's like 6 months had passed, and I looked at his. It's all like a YouTube video that popped up. And I was like, oh man, he got like so much better than like he was before, and he was already good in just 6 months. And I was like, dang, I wonder how good I could be if I kind of like kept with it and kept going. So yeah, he's kind of been a big motivator too. Is that a brush? Yeah, it's Chinese, um, like bamboo brush. This one was like, I think it was like $3 for three of these in different sizes, and two of the brushes in that pack were like, just like kind of didn't work, like the bristles frayed instantly. But for some reason, this one I think I got lucky and ended up ended up being my favorite brush, and I've never had problems with it. You could never. I think you probably could. It just takes like a little bit getting used to. A little bit of a different feel. I think whenever I make a mistake in my drawing, I kind of almost like it since I try to come up with a creative like way of making it work. So like I made him. He doesn't really fit with how these chairs are, and he didn't end up on the seat, kind of what I planned on. But I really wanted to get this seat cushion in here, so I made a little sacrifice to make that work. But since he's a cat, maybe he's just sitting on the floor now. And I'll kind of draw the table. I was thinking since he's a cat, might put a fish. On his plate here. That's what I like about drawing with ink too. But then I mess up and Ken fits it and hate it. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's like always a way out of if you mess up, there's kind of like a I don't know, like almost like a magician sort of way of getting yourself out. Which kind of what I've been having the most fun with lately. Draws characters arm. Probably has some claws since he's a cat. Now since there's a little bit of space out this back, I think I can draw his tail. Then I'll draw the other side here. Probably draw another cat back here. We just kind of chilling on the table. I really like the black cat from Coraline. I think he's got a really cool vibe to him. Oops. Okay. What's up, King Chung G Jr.? I kind of wanted to make this character a cat too, but I don't think I'll be able to fit his ear in. Kind of squeeze his arm in there. Probably squeeze the booth back here, then kind of warp it down. Probably draw this last cat, and then it's probably good for the Catman. It's supposed to be just a single cat. We kind of ended up making it a little bit more. And I'll kind of connect that back part so that the area I warped kind of balances out a bit. Well, something like that. Kind of just add a little bit of shading here. Probably color in his suit black. Kind of like to put as much black ink as I can on the page. This kind of makes the gray tones a little bit better. Well, I can honestly keep adding on this drawing all day. Uh, there is a man cat though. Man cat. That sketchbook probably can't handle the that much ink and water on it. The page is probably gonna be wrinkling later. All right. Oh yeah, I was gonna do stripes. Not sure how I'm gonna do the stripes yet. Kind of just have them work it slowly in and just kind of wrap around his arm here. Kind of almost think of them as like tattoos. I'll place more here. And kind of lessen it little by little. Kind of might do a little bit of markings on his paw here too. Now then with water, get a lighter tone. It's a bit darker than the other tone I had on before, so what I'll kind of do is go in and layer it a bit. And I can darken this up a bit too. My brush maybe has a little bit too much water though. Pretty sure that will lighten up and be a bit lighter. Get a little more water since it seems like if I get my ink really dark, once the water sort of goes away, it's like the ink kind of comes from the back of the brush and then almost like darkens my ink a little bit more. Add a little contour. Along that paw right here. And before I lose this shade, I'll go through and finish this off. Kind of rounding off this shoulder. Gonna use the shadow here to kind of round off that bicep more. And kind of go in a little bit along the ridge of the veins there. And then as it curves down, I'll kind of on the forearm here, then I'll start to color. Since here it's kind of like a double, since the using the shading here for the tigers coloring to kind of like mimic the orange, the darker value, and then leaving the white. And then it also kind of is working as a shadow too, and I'm using it as definition on his muscles. Now I'll get some contour on the different clothing and sort of figure out what I want to do for these pants. I could make them black since he's really close to the foreground. Might not be a bad option. And then I'll sort of make this character pop more since he'll have a lot more value changes than the other character next to him. I want to keep the beard as light as possible, but I can sort of sneak in a little bit more detail if I add these contour. Same with this badge. The cloth around here is kind of a bit tricky. These two parts here with the hand, the cloth are kind of getting pretty close together, so I'm gonna have to do a layer with a darker shade. I realized I can kind of just sneak in the claws here too and finish off the foot. Jeez, I think I might actually make the pants black. Kind of seems like the most interesting way. Sort of clean up the rest of this character. I'll leave a little bit of reflected light as the leg curves. I don't think the Chinese ink can get as dark in a single layer as the brush pen, but my brush pen died, so I have to kind of make do with this. It didn't really die, but ran out of ink for it. Might actually kind of help around this area since that ink will be a little bit lighter. Might be able to get away with going pretty close to the hand. Where the reference at? I don't have a reference for this. It's just all from imagination, kind of like coming up with it as I go. Do I just draw for fun? Yeah, mostly. I kind of, I don't know. I find it pretty enjoyable, so I kind of just learn from like experience rather than doing like more like targeted learning. Usually it's like something like a certain theme or like some sort of interest that I like in a movie or show or some kind of like concept that I want to do. You don't plan to make money with it? Well, my goal is to have fun with it, and and eventually make money with it at the same time. So. Nice, thank you. You don't like backgrounds? Not really. They kind of like sometimes I'll draw backgrounds, but it'll more so be like things around the character that they're interacting with like directly. Like sometimes I'll just draw like things that the yeah, just pretty much things that the characters are interacting with. I don't know, like different objects or things that they're using. And then I kind of just use different characters like as a background. Very 1980s style. I love it. Thanks, man. This drawing's definitely going a lot better than I originally thought. I was trying to do like more of like a worm's eye view from down below. It sort of changed a little bit, and I'm definitely not like used to this angle. And I also ran out of ink in the cartridge of the brush pen that I was using for the first few characters. So go back to the trusty dip brush. I think from this character, I kind of want to go deeper down and in, go more into the background. I always feel like once I have sort of three characters in the foreground kind of setup, then it becomes pretty easy the rest of the way. Might kind of set up a character back here. Get an idea of what I want to do. Get this dude's sword going. I'm kind of trying to pull this character's coat down towards his back. Put some extra swords on his waistband there. I'll try to zoom in and see it better. I'm gonna try to keep the stripes on the tiger mostly near the top, so that they don't end up accidentally looking like eyes. I might have to do the whole part black. Do some sort of symbol on his back. And from here, I kind of pull it to where I want the floor to be. Get a little bit of water mixed in, and then I'll shade his head. I want to keep his outfit, mostly white. Just go in Bailey with a little bit of contour. Something like that would probably work. Not sure what happened to my camera. No, I'll kind of work on the left side. Left side and then a little bit further back. I'll keep the same sort of theme going. I'll bring the helmet upward. Probably give this one a little bit of samurai armor. It could be kind of cool if I give the tiger Like an Oni mask. Try to zoom in. Oh jeez. Camera almost fell on. Some sort of Oni mask, but I'll have to push it out quite a bit. To kind of fit on the tiger's face more. Something along the lines of this would probably be a good start. And then I'll have probably his lower hair start about here. It's kind of where the tiger beard will start. Hello, nice drawing. Keep it up. Thanks, man. I'm a little bit tired, so a lot can go wrong, but kind of want to keep going on it, even with that. Boom, 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 boom. I ran out of ink on my brush pen. It started to die on like when I got to about this tiger. It died on me, so I had to change to um a different brush. It was my last refill too. Boom, 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 boom. Kind of good to change it up every once in a while, though. kind of funny because I originally started drawing with that brush pen because I didn't like it, and I kind of kind of figured if I didn't like it and it was hard to control versus like other brush pens, that I would get better at using the brushes I actually like, which is kind of funny because then I started actually liking that brush pen the more I just got used to using it, which was not supposed to happen. Color this in. Could probably fit in kind of where the rest of the tiger's fur would be. Hmm. I'm gonna try to pull the character this way and kind of bend the armor downward. Put some of the string straps. I'll color this in too. Sometimes the ink has a little bit of a hard time sticking to the page. All right, and then I'll pull this arm forward. Get an armor piece here. Kind of like doing like a little bit of a bolt design. Something like that. And then bend this arm. Get a little armor on there. And I'll try to sneak in backhand. blade's kind of small on that. And then I'll pull it up to the sky. Up to the sky, baby. Yeah, then I gotta shade this. Probably won't see that backhand. Something like that. And then I'll kind of pull this down. I'll really try to pull this around. Something like that. Now do one more armor piece that sort of drags the character a bit further down. Now I get some double stream. Kind of have like the tiger hair poking out of there. Now I just kind of have to bend this character. Down towards the ground. We'll color this in black as well. Leave a little bit of room for reflected light. Then I'll kind of keep pulling the character. And I can pull this back leg somewhere down here. And then get this front leg somewhere around here. Kind of just have all the tigers barefoot. Since that's probably what they're used to. No, I forgot to do this in the other characters. But I have their tail going out somewhere around here. That cool? Thank you. It's coming along slowly. I don't think a single character on this page has been in my comfort zone, which is a good thing. Every character's had a little bit of its own challenge to it. I think probably give him some sort of sandals. Even though I just said that the tigers are probably like being barefoot. Add a little water to his head. Give him sort of more of the tiger color. This is turning out so dark. I'll get all the easy spots that I kind of had set up for reflected light. And I get this tiger's head. Maybe a little bit of the side there. Make sure he still has his white beard. I'll get all this reflected light down here. Kind of just chunk that whole area into gray so it works a little better. Not sure why my camera's been so touchy, but it got very dark on the lighting all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. Might try something a little bit more brave and draw a tiger really far into the foreground here. Kind of just go on instinct. I can kind of use these whiskers to sort of mark in the form. I give him some big old teeth. Can I guess where the bottom of his mouth would be? That'll kind of give me a big idea of how the rest of his face is gonna be. His tongue, how it'll come out. Kind of make his lip a bit thicker. And then from this angle, I'm kind of gonna try to get the beard to stretch outward and then warp up into this area. And give him a big old tiger beard. I'll darken in here where light's a little less likely to hit back here. And from here, I kind of imagine second eye. And work my way a little bit further and further. have some hair coming out the side. I started to draw and I'm bad at it, and I was wondering where should I start? Um, I guess I would kind of just start. I don't know, on something you find fun or interesting. I don't know if you like have something that you have like a lot of fun with drawing, then it kind of doesn't matter. Starts to like not matter if you're like at a certain skill level, I guess. So if you can find something that you really enjoy drawing, where it kind of like takes your mind off of needing to be at a certain skill level. I guess that is kind of, I don't know, for me personally, that's kind of what I do. And then like progress just kind of happens naturally, and you'll just keep getting better and better. Especially if it's something you really like and have an interest in, then you'll just like naturally excel a lot faster than if you're doing something you didn't like. Thank you for the advice. Yeah, I hope it helps. Mm, I definitely know like the frustration though of like seeing like you're maybe seeing other people's art and you feel like you're not at the same kind of level as that, but art is definitely a very slow ramp, and it's kind of hard to tell where you're at on like progress. I got myself a little in a pickle here. Yeah, I compare it to my sisters and they're really good. I should stop trying to compare and just practice. Y- Yeah, it's pretty hard to not compare. I think I think the best like thing that I've sort of learned for comparing is like when you look at someone else's art, if you see it as sort of like I can achieve that or that's what's possible. I think kind of like seeing it as like a positive thing can kind of almost like flip it upside down and then kind of make you more motivated. I don't know if that makes sense. I think I'll probably have. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Thanks for the advice again. I'm trying to try it later on when I draw. Yeah, I hope it helped. I try to give his like I don't know. I never want to tell someone like kind of how they should think or how they should draw, but can I just give some like insight when I can, sort of when I find out something, and then kind of hopefully share some useful information. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, if you're starting to learn to draw, I think like at least knowing sort of like what the fundamentals are, and if you can kind of like identify them and learn a little bit about them, I don't think you need like an insane amount of like depth much past that, and then kind of once you have some decent like understanding of fundamentals and kind of know like just what they are, then you can kind of like experiment around and play with different ideas, and then the fundamentals kind of become almost like tools, kind of like the pen or pencil. Boom, 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 boom. I kind of want to really warp the armor of this character outward. Yeah, I have a sketchbook and I've been drawing shapes and trying to draw hands. Your drawing is awesome, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to um, give advice since I don't really know kind of what you're going for. Like for me, I mostly I like to draw from like only imagination and draw things that kind of like aren't in reality or like sort of change them how I want. So for me, like kind of figuring out things on the page and then drawing things from imagination and then kind of like looking at movies or things to kind of like build upon um kind of what I can draw. That works best for me. But if you're someone who kind of just wants to draw like portraits or other things, then it's like a little bit different. So it kind of just depends on what you're going for. Probably do this whole area in dark. kind of get the shoulder out there. And then I can get his arm out. Kind of bend it out there a bit. I like comics, manga, and always wanted to draw the characters. So I try to use that as my blueprint. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess if like if that's your interest, then kind of whatever like I don't know promotes the interest the most. It kind of like depends on the way you want to draw too. Yeah, the best advice I can kind of give is just sort of like follow your interest for drawing and then sort of like do whatever brings like the most fun with it. And I think that will take you the furthest. Probably sneak his hand in here. Get a little bit of shine, that middle part. Now it's gonna be a little bit tricky. I actually can't believe I drew this tiger here. I wasn't even like thinking about um his character actually working. I kind of just wanted to draw a tiger head here, and then I had to like get a little bit creative and slip him straight under this other tiger, kind of rolling over him. I'm trying to think what I should do. I could do cloth. Yeah, I'll probably do cloth. was gonna do armor, and I just realized I can kind of do both. I'll just kind of have the cloth going over the armor. It's probably gonna mess with my hand over here, but probably actually help it make it stand out a bit more. And then I'll get some cloth coming from the tiger. Then I'll kind of have him pan out a little bit as he goes down. Something like that. This drawing's going pretty well. I'm glad that the Chinese ink is very similar to what was in my brush pen, so it doesn't really change too much. Kind of helps I was already shading with the Chinese ink anyway, so won't change the look too much. I'll get a little bit of contour in here. Almost actually shaded that tooth. Try to keep the teeth white. Gums might be a little darker. Then I'll kind of do a little bit of contour down here. Just kind of add a little bit of dimension to the hair. How long have I been working on this piece? Um, I guess 4 hours now. Well, maybe like 3.5. I've been streaming actually maybe like 3 hours because I was doing like a little bit of a side doodle on part of the stream. So yeah, probably like 3 hours. It's pretty late, so I tend to slow down a lot as I get tired. Probably gonna go to bed and end the stream after I finish shading this tiger. I don't know if you guys can hear like background noise. That's my rabbit chewing on things. Kind of round off that knuckle a bit. Try to round off the hand without keeping it white. Right. I think that's probably a good stopping point. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you for all the support, likes, and follows. And yeah, probably stream them tomorrow again. And see you guys next time.